Hey, thanks again for joining us on Middle Aged and Mediocre. We know the name doesn't make any sense, but we're okay with it if you're okay with it, and if you're not, we're still okay with it.
Yeah.
I'm Cash.
Learn to live with it. I'm wearing shorts.
You are. I did notice that. You are.
Yeah. The
shorts.
widest legs.
Yeah, you have. You got the button-up shirt. You're pulling off the middle-aged mediocre look.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I just need white New Balances. Like, I have black Adidas, but they are orthopedic.
Well, you can't
Adidas.
wear New Balances now unless you're a white supremacist.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they adopted the.
Oh.
Yeah.
Bummer.
Yeah, I know.
I wear black New Balances. I don't wear white sneakers. I have a pair I bought when I was Orange Cassidy for Halloween. Right. Shout out Orange Cassidy.
OC.
He's listening.
Freshly squeezed.
Yep.
Freshly squeezed. He's been getting some pushes. Yeah. He's been getting some good time on TV.
My favorite thing to do is listen to Jim Cornette bitch about Orange Cassidy.
Yeah.
Like, I'll watch his little YouTube videos, and it's just like 9 minutes of him just, I hate it. Oh, dude, he kind of went off the fucking chain last time, or off whatever, but he's like wanting like Orange Cassidy to die, and he was saying some really fucked up shit, and I was like, man, this is still just wrestling, right?
Right, that's still a human being, man.
Like, he's like, oh, there's people that cheer for that, they're in on it, they're like, he's like, they don't matter because they're like the only people that enjoy it. Like, who cares? Like, they still enjoy it. Like, I still enjoy it.
Yeah, it's hard to stay like a fan of Jim Cornette.
Yeah.
Like, I like the dude did so much for the, like...
I like hearing still
he's such a big part of my childhood,
yeah.
Like, watching wrestling and all that, but fuck, man.
He was a prick back then, too. You hated him.
Like, I agree with so much of the stuff he says about wrestling, like, his psychology-wise.
Yeah.
But, man.
He hates Kenny Omega.
Get the
he
fuck
hates
over
the Young
it, dude.
Bucks. Like, yeah. I mean, like, almost like, is he working it? Like, what's...
Yeah, I mean, I think 95% of it's a work. Because it keeps him relevant. Yeah. Like, who would care about Jim Cornette if he didn't say...
Yeah, if he was like, no, like me, everything's
you know
great.
What I mean?
Yeah.
Like, he'd still have, like, the NWA commentary job. But he'd just be Jim Cornette still. Like, he wouldn't be getting the podcast listens. Because people are obsessed with listening, because they want to hear what he's going to say.
Yeah, that's true.
They want to hear him bitch about AEW.
Watch the YouTube.
And then they get mad about it, and then they go to forums, and Jim Cornette said this. So, like...
People write letters and asking questions, and him and Brian Alvarez. Why are we talking about this?
He's made
Sorry.
He made a smart decision to keep himself relevant.
Yeah.
But you're Joel.
I'm Joel.
So
in shorts, talking about Orange Cassidy.
If things get weird... just a warning up front, I'm on muscle relaxers and whiskey.
Wow.
So, if at some point I just pass out, just take it.
I'm opening up the Vader and the Demolition. If some point, I'm actively rooting for it. Can we, put on some, do you have a white noise machine or something?
Well, I got the window.
You have toilet paper stacked up to the ceiling. Can you, just lay on?
Sold out, man.
Can you just lay on, a bed of toilet paper?
I mean, I feel like one of these days, I'm gonna wait for you to be super, super depressed and sad, and then I'm just gonna be like, "Here's Demolition, buddy."
Oh,
dude, so don't start pretending tomorrow.
Tomorrow, I'm like, oh god.
I saw you
get
ready
this
for it
over?
already. You started having a look on your face, like you're gonna start crying.
I can.
I'm not gonna buy.
I'll switch it on.
I'm not gonna just buy into it yet.
Man, I'm looking forward to getting really depressed now. Yes.
I mean, eventually, if I move,
which
I'm planning on doing before too long, I won't want to pack and move shit. So I'll just be like, here
you go,
have things,
open it up.
That's what I do every time I move. I'm just like, who wants all my shit?
I've done that,
so I don't have to fucking do anything with it.
Now I'm in that little ass place, but yeah.
But I was in a wreck today, so that's why I got rear-ended pretty good. But
took it in the rear pretty good.
Took it in the rear, man. Jarred me. I'm good,
you.
though.
Yeah.
Sore shit.
Whiskey and muscle relaxers.
They try to do x-rays. I'm too big to get back x-rays.
Congratulations.
Yeah. So that's a fun thing to hear.
Muscular-wise. Because you're pretty...
all bulk.
Yeah.
It's bulking season.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm going to start cutting.
You got muscle there.
Right.
Yeah.
So I carry around...
You got a broad back.
I'm 400 pounds.
Yeah.
I carry it not that great, but it's all right.
Who does?
It's mostly in my arms and shoulders.
Yeah.
But, so they were like, they
got
said...
a big head.
I got a big ass Irish head. So they were like, we think your back's just super screwed up from like old injuries.
Sure.
And I was like, yeah, it definitely is.
They brought Superman in to X-ray.
Right. Hurts, stings like the Dickens.
A little warning. Worse than a tattoo.
But yeah, man, everyone.
So you got in a wreck, and did you wash your hands?
I did. I was telling you, there was a dead deer carcass right next to the road where we pulled off to wait for the cop.
Did you start in the car?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Somebody had cut the... So, like, it was a buck.
Yeah.
And it had half of its left antler. The right antler was missing completely, and the left one had been, like, cut clean.
Wow.
Like, so it didn't get broken off, and it didn't... Whatever. It was a clean cut.
Someone stopped like, look at that antler!
Someone took the fucking antlers, man.
Yeah, you ever been to a flea market? You think all that antler art? Where do you think that shit comes from?
That's true, but why not take all of the antlers? Like, why leave half of the left one?
Maybe that's all they needed. Maybe the right one was already gone.
Maybe. But yeah, it was...
Who knows? Maybe it got hit and lost.
It smelled
the
so
first
bad.
one.
But yeah, I washed my hands in that.
Yeah.
So...
Like how would you describe the smell? If you could pick like 3 smells that would make up that smell.
Like if, say,
really
a whole nest of skunks died in the summer.
Right in the sun.
Yeah, and they had all just shit.
Okay.
And they'd all had diarrhea. And they'd all just shit, and then they died immediately after.
Uh-huh.
And then this deer came along and vomited.
Yeah.
And then ate them.
Oh, okay.
And then shit all that out. And then ate it again, and then got hit. It was
that's how it smelled.
It's close to that, cool. I'd say. Pretty close. So
I should not have asked that question.
You should have, man. I will describe it.
That was really good.
So yeah, everybody. I went to MedExpress. Everyone there was coughing.
Yeah.
Like everybody had masks on.
See, I cough because I smoke weed.
Yeah, I cough because that's what I've been doing since September.
Yeah.
So it just happens now. It's a thing I do now. I cough.
People cough and you look at them you're like, what the fuck are you?
Well, if you fucking like, I was at Mahone Tire the other day and had to cough, and like as midway through it, I noticed everyone in the lobby turned and just glared at me.
Kill them!
I was like, man, I already don't want to be out in public.
Yeah, they say wash your hands, don't touch your face. No shaking hands.
Right. I tried to shake the cop's hand today. I didn't think about it. I just like walked up to what he goes, whoa, hey, no. He's like, we can bump elbows.
He shoots you. Okay, officer, that was fair.
He kind of like took a step back and he's like, I'm taking my family to Cincinnati. I'm not taking anything else with me.
I've done that. I mean, people try to shake my hand and
I didn't even think about
bump them.
it.
I fist the hell out of them.
Yeah, you just fist them, man.
Yeah,
can't get coronavirus that way.
No shaking hands, which has to be a relief to Michael J. Fox.
Do you think they just stopped?
Yeah. That's the joke,
Or
right?
does he go to jail if he keeps shaking?
Oh, yeah.
Man, you can't just pick on Michael J. Fox.
I can't?
No.
All right, let's go back.
He's a national treasure.
Do it. How about Tom Hanks?
Right, man. He's got the corona.
Oh, man. Tom
Hanks. Him and his wife both.
Yep.
If anybody could get it, I mean, if anybody's going to get it, I'm kind of glad it's him because he's going to turn it into a pretty badass movie.
Yeah, he will.
Yeah.
If he makes basketball player, Rudy Gobert. Touched all the mics, went in the locker room, touched all
and now his teammate Donovan Mitchell has it.
Yeah, like how about don't touch me?
Yeah, he apologized. He's like, I just didn't think it was. He's like, I didn't understand that my joke wasn't.
Hopefully, like from what I heard, like those guys, they're gonna get like flu sick, but it might not be too bad for them. Like it's really bad for like older people with pre-existing conditions. I mean,
well.
It's just crazy.
Like, I kind of wanted to talk about it.
Suspending the NBA, like...
Well, so the NBA, Major League Baseball...
March Madness.
Major League Soccer, and NHL are all postponed. March Madness is canceled altogether.
Oh, they just canceled
They canceled it. And then XFL canceled the rest of their season. Because,
it gets to the point where, like, all these arenas in 2 months' time, when this hopefully is lifted or whatever, like, they already have shit scheduled for that.
Yeah,
so
well, like, college especially, that'd be a logistics nightmare.
Yeah.
Like,
hopefully
kids are
NBA
going
can,
to other...
Like, just start their playoffs or something at some point.
The NBA?
Yeah.
I do kind of... Yeah, I was thinking that, like, where they would just be like, all right, like, that was the end of the season. But then, like, there's a couple teams I think are, like, right on the bubble of being the 8 seeds. So, like, but, whatever.
Play in or something. They'll figure it out.
I'm all for extra basketball.
Yeah. I'm glad they... I mean, it's just so weird. They had, like, in Salt Lake City, they had all the fans there about to tip off. And they're like, actually...
Well, they did the same thing with the late game that night. New Orleans and Sacramento.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it was supposed to be the 10:30 game.
That's crazy.
And all the fans, they just went ahead and decided to cancel it. They played the Mavericks and whoever the Mavericks played. It was basically the final game before the But
I mean, that's just billions of dollars, and all those leagues like stop and play.
Like so, XFL said they're going to go ahead and pay all their players for the remainder of the season, which is cool.
Yeah. They were doing pretty good too. I thought for
I mean,
better than the first.
The
time
football's
out.
not great.
Yeah.
It's got some issues,
but the ratings and attendance.
I enjoy it.
Steady.
I've been watching it.
Yeah.
But like the South by Southwest Festival's canceled.
Yep.
Coachella's pushed back to October. E3, which is like one of the biggest gaming, it's canceled. So I keep seeing all these people post things like it's just the flu.
Yeah.
Quit being maybe. Like, maybe it is.
How do you? Yeah, they wouldn't cancel this shit if it's just the flu.
Like I don't know what it is. I don't know, but like what I do know is corporations and things like that don't give money up.
No.
So
money rules the world.
For all of these places to be like, hey, we're going to take a hit because NBA's taking a huge fucking hit. Like they're going to lose so much revenue. And it's going to fuck them next year. Their cap space is going to be fucked.
It's going to change everything.
So for all of these places South by Southwest is going to lose shitloads of money. People don't like to lose money, especially big things like this. So I feel like if it was just the flu, which maybe it is.
Yeah.
I feel like there's stuff that we don't know yet.
Yeah.
Because if you listen to like people from the World Health Organization.
Who?
This
is serious, goddammit!
If you listen to people from that, like experts and shit, they've routinely said, we don't exactly know what we're dealing with yet. So, like, for all these people to jump to the conclusion of, like, everybody get over it and quit, whatever.
Like, let me come cough in your face.
Right. Then on the other side of that, like, maybe you shouldn't go buy all the toilet paper. Maybe other people need some
I don't think you're going to just start shitting more, are you? I don't understand it. Like, people they want to... I don't know. The more I'm on social media, the more I get freaked out about. I mean, like I said, I canceled a trip to Ohio this weekend just because, like, I'm taking my daughter and just who knows? In 2 days they might no interstate trial. I don't know.
Dude, so much has been happening just in the last couple of days.
Yeah, like 2 days ago, I would never have thought that they were going to cancel all this.
Right?
Stuff.
Yeah, I thought some stuff might get postponed for like a week.
They were talking about that empty arena.
SmackDown tomorrow night's going to be empty arena.
Yeah, no, it's at the Performance Center.
But it's what I read. There's no fans. Though,
yeah, because it's just a ring.
Yeah. Or so not an arena. But
yeah.
I
mean, it's just WrestleMania. They're saying it's still going to go on as planned.
They're saying. I don't know though.
What's the date for that? Like April 15th. They're
4th, April something.
God, 2 weeks. I
don't know. Yeah.
I don't even give a fuck. Cancel it.
It's 2 weeks from Sunday, I think. Or 3 weeks, so one or the other. But so there's over 1,000 dead in Italy right now.
Mm-hmm. It's just the flu.
Based on they don't have all the data yet. Like so, this is based on incomplete data. Close to 5,000 people have died all over the world. There have been close to 135,000 cases so far. Yeah. Again, not complete data. We don't know how many is not being reported.
Yeah.
We don't know how many are being covered up by countries, because some countries might not want it out there that,
kind of hurt tourism.
There's somewhere around 69,000 closed cases, so that's like a 7% death rate so far. That's since around January 23rd, when Wuhan, China, shut down transportation. So I think basically in China at that time, they just went they basically shut off 18 million people from the world.
That's insane.
They just decided we need to prevent this shit from getting out now.
Nobody leave.
But it still did. So I mean, and then you get people that are saying the flu's worse. Maybe the numbers do say that, because from what I read, an estimated 56,000 people die from the flu or flu-like symptoms every year. And during the 2017-2018 flu season, almost 62,000 people died from the flu.
And only 5. But again, not everything's
so right now it's only 5,000.
It's only been since January too. We're not talking the whole year.
I mean, this has happened quick.
Yeah. And hopefully 2 weeks from now, I mean, they have it under control. We can kind of get back to some normalcy. But
it spreads so fast.
I always stay away from crowds. I don't like being seriously.
Right.
I don't like to be. It's so weird because if I'm on stage in front of them, it's cool. That's all right. But,
I don't want to be intermingled.
I don't want to be in. Yeah, I want the crowd to be I'm on one side of the crowd and the crowd's the crowd.
Yeah.
The wrestling shows, I like to be the ring. I'm not part of the crowd.
Right.
I'm the ring announcer. I like to help you. I'm running around doing shit. It's just.
Speaking of that show, we have a show scheduled for March 28th. As of right now, it's still happening. There's no cases in West Virginia.
Yeah.
There's 3 cases under investigation in West Virginia right now.
Oh, really?
So,
I mean, it's in Kentucky, it's in Ohio.
Yeah.
It's got to be just a matter of time.
So we're gonna keep an eye on
West
it.
Virginia's always a little behind.
We don't get fans coming really from other places.
Yeah.
We get some wrestlers coming from different places.
Yeah.
But we're gonna keep an eye on it and see, and then make a call sometime next week. A lot of places are canceling their shows.
Yeah.
I mean, we might.
I have a comedy show in Akron that's up in the air right now. I mean, the booker guy has a lot. He has other venues that have canceled shows. And he's like, this venue says that we can still do it because I mean, you couldn't get 100 people in there anyway,
Right.
You know, and that's the thing in Ohio now. I mean, there's no gatherings over 100 people, but it's a little tiny bar show. I've already performed at the place. I like it. And the guy's like, basically, it's up to you if you want to come. For right now, that could change. And I'm like, I'll come because I mean, I'm going to be 6 feet away from the people,
Right?
You know, like I still get to do a half-hour comedy, get paid, right? Like, yeah, I'll risk my life, sure. I'm not taking my daughter. Like if I can't go visit family without my daughter,
Right?
So like since I don't want to take her, I'm just not going. Like, well, I'll go see him in a month or something. Like.
I mean, it's kind of scary. They're saying that you don't show symptoms for like 10 days.
Yeah.
So you could have it and you wouldn't even know for like 10 days.
We are so close. Like ourselves.
Oh.
You don't. I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
Get
it's
off my lap.
You got on my lap first. Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, it might not be anything to worry about.
Yeah.
But maybe it is.
It's not gonna hurt the word. I don't.
Right.
Well, it can
find
hurt
it weird.
if you're at this point, like we were joking about. If you're going out and buying 20 packs of toilet paper,
you need to have some common sense still.
That shit can hurt you. Like, yeah.
Plus, remember,
What
there's
if they close the stores? What they're like, all right,
Right.
we're closing fucking everything.
well, remember, there's other people that like need things too. So maybe don't
Yeah.
just start hoarding shit.
Yeah.
So
And like people, like I've seen Amazon like stop selling some items because people are buying them. Like, oh, well, now we're going to triple the money, triple the price.
Right, they'll do that shit. Yeah. I mean, and then like so, Amazon say all like you said, stores start closing. You think, well, I can still go to Amazon, but like, what if UPS and the post office is like, hey, we can't just be getting shit taken to people.
Yeah, who knows where it's coming from?
So I don't know, man. It could be a weird
such a
fucking
movie thing. It's like what's that '90s movie with like Outbreak with the monkey?
Yeah.
Started with the monkey and that one. Dustin
And this
Hoffman.
one started with bats. They say most likely it was bats, and then
Really?
bats and
I wondered how it started.
but then bats. They said that since like there's no because it most likely started in a market in Wuhan, China, and they said that since bats aren't like that's not a thing that gets eaten, it's most likely from a animal that a bat infected.
So like maybe a bat infected an animal, and that animal infected a person.
Yeah.
And from that little tiny market.
Yeah.
And wherever the fuck you just said.
Wuhan, China is where that's where they say it's originated.
Keep them all in check. Wuhan.
But I mean, I don't know, man. That could be where it started. It could have been something else.
Could be in a lab.
We don't know. It could have started somewhere else, and they haven't got a report. Yeah, it could be a lab.
Let's get
rid of man-made.
Let's get rid of half the population.
Look, man, it's time we sweep off some of the
Thanos fella.
Dust, you know what I mean?
Thanos fella.
It's weird. Have you watched Mark Maron's new special on Netflix? It's really good.
It just dropped. Like, I'm so sorry. I just said that. It just dropped.
But he has a whole He has a whole thing kind of comparing Marvel movies to the Bible. How it's kind of like a new religion.
Oh yeah.
So it is kind of funny to think.
Oh wow!
Like,
I'm about to watch that.
Somebody sees Endgame, or like whatever movie was before Endgame, but like Thanos wipes out half it, and then somebody's like, "This is our religion. Like, we need to make this happen." Like I don't know, but.
Nerds!
There's stuff.
Nerds could do that. Nerds could make something,
this is
man.
What happens when nerds finally
Fucking
get their
nerds.
way?
Yeah, they stopped working on jetpacks. Now they're working on C-19.
Yeah, jetpacks only killed one person.
Make jetpacks. Wash your hands. Don't touch your face.
That's right. Fly jetpacks again. Wash your hands with jetpacks.
Yeah. C-19 can't get up in the air.
But all right, man. That's enough of the sad stuff. Let's get to murder and death.
Oh, I guess you're the boss of sad stuff now. Okay, cool.
Let's get to dead children.
Man, I'm so depressed right now. I just wish there was something that could cheer me up. But there's nothing in this world that's going to make me any happier.
You're not getting demolition yet.
Okay, well, what? Who?
Let's talk about some dead kids.
Okay. Jesus Christ. Let's up the mood a little bit, huh?
Yeah, guys.
Who's ready to party? So anyway, there's these kids. They're dead.
Yeah. There's 5 of them.
5 of them. Is there a clown named Pennywise?
Maybe. This is a mystery.
Okay.
So, I mean, all right, yeah, like, we're not going to solve the coronavirus problem, so...
Oh, we're not? That's why I came over.
The least we can do is is try to solve this mystery.
Okay.
It's what we do here on Middle Aged and Mediocre.
Get my shoulders loose for this mystery solving.
All right, you ready? All right, let's do this.
Yep.
All right. George Sodder was born in Tula, Sardinia in 1895.
Where is that?
That is in Italy.
Okay.
He immigrated to the United States in 1908 when he was 13. An older brother who had accompanied him to Ellis Island immediately returned to Italy, leaving George on his own. You know, like you do when somebody's 13 years old.
13 in New York City.
Yeah.
New York City?
He found work on the Pennsylvania railroads, carrying water and supplies to laborers. And
I know that from Monopoly.
The Pennsylvania Railroad.
Yeah.
In a few, what's the other three?
B&O.
Pennsylvania, B&O.
Oh shit, man! I haven't played in a long time.
I don't know either.
We'll have to look it up.
I was hoping you knew.
Nope. I knew. We both know B&O in Pennsylvania.
B&O, Pennsylvania.
All right.
Why are those the two we both know?
So he came from Italy.
Yeah,
at 13. He started working on the railroad.
He came from Italia.
All the livelong day.
He started taking water and supplies to the laborers. And after a few years, he moved to Smithers, West Virginia.
Okay.
He was smart and ambitious. He first worked as a driver and then launched his own trucking company. So did pretty good for a 13-year-old immigrant. I don't know when he
done glue up.
I don't know when he launched that, but he did. So they are real quick.
Okay.
They are
Pennsylvania, B&O, Reading,
Reading. I think it's Reading.
Oh, okay.
And then Short Line.
Short. I would never would have guessed Short Line.
I don't remember that one.
Isn't it ironic that I read Reading wrong?
I think you might be right. Even it might be Reading.
I'm pretty
but
sure.
I think it's Reading.
We'll wrestle about
Reading
it
Railroad sounds too much like Reading Rainbow.
Yeah, that's true.
So whatever, good show. He was smart and ambitious. He first worked as a driver. Yeah, launched his own trucking company, hauling dirt for construction and later freight and coal. One day he walked into a local store called the Music Box and met the owner's daughter, Jennie Cipriani, who had come over from Italy when she was 3. They married and had 10 children.
Damn.
Between 1923 and 1943.
Just fucking.
10 children in 10 years or 20 years.
Just fucking.
Yeah,
man.
2 a year.
Yeah,
I think. Yeah, no.
So she'd have
one
birth,
every 2 years.
She'd like go like 8-9 months, and she'd be like, all right.
So one every They settled in Fayetteville, West Virginia, an Appalachian town with a
double
small
the population
but active Italian immigrant community. Have you ever been to Fayetteville?
I've probably been through it or something. I don't know.
It was listed. It's actually a pretty great town. It was listed as one of the 2006 top 10 coolest small towns in America.
Ooh.
By the Budget Travel magazine.
What?
I got a subscription.
I have the whole series in my trunk right now. Yes.
And as Best River Town 2013 by another one of our favorite magazines, Blue Ridge Outdoors.
Ooh.
Yeah. So the New River Gorge runs along the edge of it. And there is a lot of cool shit to do there. There's a lot of live music and like little places to eat. So I've stopped there a few times on the way to like Summersville and places like that. But anyways,
tell me more, Josh.
I'm going to.
Did you have a picnic? No, I want to hear about when you would stop on your way to Summerstown.
It was the 90s. The Sodders were, as one county magistrate put it, one of the most respected middle class families around. George held strong opinions about everything from business to...
Italians usually do.
Yeah.
I don't want to stereotype a bunch of people.
But
they
have opinions, and
Italians,
they're very firm in those opinions.
Forget about it!
Why do you even forget about it if you're trying to keep telling me about it? That's why they want you to forget about it, so they can tell you about it again. They held strong opinions about everything from business to current events and politics, but was, for some reason, he didn't really talk to his kids much. He never explained what happened back in Italy to make him want to leave. The Sodders planted flowers across the space where their house had stood and began to stitch together a series of odd moments leading up to a fire.
Oh.
There was a stranger who appeared at the home a few months earlier, back in the fall, asking about hauling work. He meandered to the back of the house, pointed to 2 separate fuse boxes, and said, "This is going to cause a fire someday." Strange, George thought.
I love a good meander.
Meander.
Yeah,
I haven't meandered enough in my life.
Oh, dude.
I need to get back to meandering.
You need to, yeah.
Yeah.
Don't be in a hurry. Fuck, man. You're going to get there. Like, look around while you're doing it. Enjoy that shit. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Fuck, I just like that you use that word.
Just meander.
Just fucking
You want to go, when you like,
meandered.
next time you ask a girl out, Like, hey, would you like to go for a meander?
Meander?
See what she says.
Sounds like a sexual position.
Yeah.
Me and her.
It's like a salamander type
It's me
thing.
and her.
Yeah.
All
There
right.
you go.
So he meandered.
He thought it was weird that somebody would say that about the fuse boxes, especially since he had just had the wiring checked by the local power company, which pronounced it in fine condition. Around the same time,
Some meanderer is going to show up and like try to talk shit about it.
Get
lost,
That's
buddy.
not good. Those aren't good fuse boxes.
Yeah.
I've meandered a day or two in my life. I know a thing or two about fuse boxes.
You're going to catch a fire.
Around the same time, another man showed up and tried to sell the family life insurance and became irate when George declined. He said,
Not a good salesman.
he said, your goddamn house is going to up in smoke and your children are going to be destroyed.
Have a good day.
You are going to be paid for the dirty remarks you've been making about Mussolini.
Tell your neighbors about me.
George was indeed outspoken about his dislike for the Italian dictator Mussolini, and occasionally engaged in heated arguments with other members of the town's Italian community. At the time, though, he didn't take the man's threat seriously. He just thought he was a real Mussolini. You know? The older Sodder sons also recalled something peculiar. Just before Christmas, they noticed a man parked along U.S. Highway 21, intently watching the younger kids as they come home from school. So that's the scene.
All right.
For Christmas Eve that year. It was pretty much like any other in the area at that time. George and Jennie Sodder, the two,
They were fucking
the father and
making more
mother,
kids.
had gone off to bed with their 2-year-old baby girl Sylvia. Their younger children, Maurice, Martha, Louis, Jenny, and Betty, were allowed to stay up late to play with some of the new toys they had already acquired.
Oh.
You gotta get those toys on Christmas Eve.
Hell yeah.
The oldest sons, John, age 23, and George Jr., age 16, were already in bed after spending the entire day.
Wait. They had a first son. Then they were like, let's name this one after you, George.
Yeah.
That's so fucking weird.
Well, did you know Gary? I just found this out yesterday. So Gary Payton has 2 kids, right?
Yeah.
The oldest one is Gary Payton II, and the younger one is Gary Payton Jr.
My head's spinning.
Yeah, like what? Yeah.
Huh?
And Gary Payton, Payton Jr.'s nickname. What do you think it is?
GPJ?
So Gary Payton what was his nickname?
Glove.
The glove.
Yeah.
Gary Payton Jr.'s nickname
The sock?
is the mitten.
Oh my god.
He's not very good either. He's kind
No,
of
the name
He's kind of
it
shitty.
rhymes with kitten.
Yeah.
Mitten is not a good word.
And Gary
name.
Payton II, he's pretty damn good.
Yeah.
But Gary Payton Jr. did not quite get it. He's
It's
in.
so confusing. They talk about Gary Payton II. They talk about Gary Payton.
I think he's in the
Jr.
NBA. I think they both are.
I think I did see.
I know
that
Gary
one.
Payton II is. But
Yeah.
anyways.
Anywho, so this guy has his first son, names him John.
John.
And then he's like, oh,
He's like,
man.
you wish. You know what I wish I would have done? I'll bippity boppity. I'm gonna fix it. And that's Italian. I
George
think.
Jr.
They'd been working at their father's coal trucking business all day, so they were tired and they were already in bed. The older sister, Marion, was watching her younger siblings before going to sleep. At around 12:30 in the morning, the telephone broke the quietness of the night. Jenny rushed to answer it, and an unfamiliar female voice asked for an unfamiliar name. Then there was a laughter, and then glasses clinking in the background.
Warriors!
Oh, yeah.
Come out and play! Yay! I think you can do it with full ones. Warriors! So they're clinging glass over the phone. First of all, quit playing games on my phone.
It's a great movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like they were like just New Year's partying it up on Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
Getting some champagne glasses going. Just a bunch of fucking drunks, you know what I mean?
Or maybe they were writing that movie. It's probably around that time. No, it's probably way
No, this
earlier.
was way back
1940
in,
or something, probably.
Yeah,
I
so
like math.
this was, I mean, their youngest kid was born in 43.
It was like 23 or something, so you got to figure this.
This was 1945.
Yep, okay.
So, Jenny told her she must have the wrong number and hung up. Tiptoeing back to bed, she noticed that all of the downstairs lights were still on, and that the curtains were open, and that the front door was unlocked. And these were all things that the kids had always made sure they did. They locked the door, they closed all that stuff. She saw Marion asleep on the sofa in the living room and assumed that the other kids were upstairs in bed. She turned out the lights, closed the curtains, and locked the door, and then returned to her room. She'd just begun to doze off when she heard one sharp, loud bang up on the roof. Then a rolling noise.
Santa Claus.
So something had hit and started rolling down. Yeah. Fucking, it's Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
Yeah. Up on the rooftops.
Yeah.
Something. Something.
Was quite a stir.
I don't know.
Or something.
Nope.
Yeah. Santa's drunk as shit up on the roof.
Santa's pissing off the roof.
Come on, Martha!
Oh my God, he's shitting in the. Anyways, an hour later, she was roused once again. This time by the smell of the heavy smoke pouring into her room.
Oh.
Around 1 a.m., a fire broke out. George and Jennie and 4 of the children escaped, but the other 5 were never seen again. One of the kids is off in the military.
Okay.
By the way, so 9 of the 10 are in this house. 4 of them get out with the parents. 5 are never seen again.
Wow, they lost half their kids.
George tried to save them, breaking a window to re-enter the house, which ended up cutting like a big patch of skin off his arm. He could see nothing through the smoke and the fire, though, which had already went through all of the downstairs rooms, living and dining room, kitchen and office, and in his and Jennie's bedroom.
So their remains were never found inside the house then. And I figured you're going to have some remains in a fire.
He took stock of what he knew. 2-year-old Sylvia, whose crib was in their bedroom, was safe outside, as was 17-year-old Marion and 2 sons, 23-year-old John and 16-year-old George Jr., who had fled the upstairs bedroom they shared, singeing their hair on the way out. He figured Maurice, Martha, Louis, Jennie, and Betty still had to be up there, cowering in 2 bedrooms on either end of the hallway, separated at a staircase that was now engulfed in flames. Like, they couldn't even use the staircase now.
Yeah.
He raced back outside.
You gotta have a plan for a fire.
Back in the 40s.
I learned that shit in elementary school.
It was just, I hope it doesn't happen.
Yeah. That's why in the 90s they had plans in place. They're like, hey, don't be like
they
these
started
guys.
making those stickers you could put on your window and shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
He raced back outside.
I eat ass. Those stickers?
I eat ass.
Yeah, you can get those stickers.
Well, then you'll get pulled over.
Yeah, but you can also put it on your window.
Yeah, they don't like it.
Girls and guys just bring their ass to you.
Yeah, we don't discriminate anymore. Yep. Both of them. Everybody eating ass.
Hey, buddy, just wash your hands. Just wash your goddamn hands.
That's what killed that deer earlier. He raced back outside, hoping to reach them through the upstairs windows. But the ladder he always kept propped up against the house was strangely missing. Then he had an idea. He would drive one of his 2 coal trucks up to the house and climb atop it to reach the windows. But even though they'd been functioning perfectly the day before, neither one would start. He ransacked his mind for another option. He tried to scoop water from a rain barrel, but found it frozen solid. 5 of his children were stuck somewhere inside those great whipping ropes of smoke. He didn't notice his arm was slick with blood and that his voice was like killing him from screaming their names.
Yeah. Probably inhaled a bunch of smoke.
His daughter Marion sprinted to a neighbor's home.
Man, that'd be so bad. Like, your kids are just
stuck in there. Yeah, you know, there's not anything you can do.
No.
You're trying everything, but his daughter Marion sprinted to a neighbor's home to call the Fayetteville Fire Department, but couldn't get an operator response. A neighbor who saw the blaze made a call from a nearby tavern, but again, no operator response. Exasperated,
Christmas Eve, no one's working.
The neighbor drove into town and tracked down Fire Chief F.J. Morris, who initiated Fayetteville version of a fire alarm, a phone tree system, where one firefighter phoned another, who phoned another.
Phone a firefighter.
So, yeah, one person would get the initial call, and then instead of like being able to just go to the fire, they'd have to then call to the next one, and then the next one. The fire department was only 2.5 miles away, but the crew didn't arrive until 8 a.m.
Jeez.
7 hours after the fire had started. By which point, the Sodders' home had been reduced to a smoking pile of ash. And why hadn't the fire chief just taken off as soon as he was notified of the fire?
Yeah.
Well, according to the chief himself, he didn't know how to drive the fire truck.
How you chief?
You don't need to know things about driving a fire truck. That's what I pay these imbeciles
He's like,
for.
I just know when there's fire. Like, hey, guys, put that out, okay?
Yeah, I just tell these guys to get the fires out. Lost in the fire were Maurice, age 14, Martha, age 12, Louis, age 9, Jennie, age 8, and Betty, age 5.
Jesus.
And by lost, I mean lost.
Lost.
They're gone. The bodies were nowhere to be found.
Not even up in smoke.
Fire Chief F.J. Morris told the Sodder parents that the blaze, which he speculated was caused by faulty wiring, was likely hot enough to completely destroy the bodies. Something didn't sit quite right with George and Jennie, though. They didn't think that the blaze was an accident, and they believed that the children might still be alive. With it being Christmas, investigators stated that a more thorough investigation would be conducted in a week.
We gotta celebrate, okay?
However, before the investigators returned, George used one of his bulldozers to push dirt over the remains of the home, creating like a shrine.
Oh.
He did this, he says, because after the way the investigators had acted, he just didn't think they were going to come back. He's just like, they didn't seem interested in this at all. They just quickly said it's faulty wiring, and then they were all kind of like, well, all right.
Yeah, but see you in a week.
See you later.
Yeah.
So he just kind of thought, we were getting the shit into the deal here, says him.
Like, that's kind of fishy to cover.
So Jennie couldn't understand how 5 children could perish in a fire and leave no bones, no flesh, nothing.
No screams.
Right.
I mean, they say a lot of times though, you die from smoking.
You'll be able to. Yeah. She conducted a experiment of her own. By burning animal bones, chicken bones, beef joints, pork chop bones, to see if the fire consumed them. Each time she was left with a heap of charred bones. She knew that remnants of various household appliances had been found in the burned-out basement, and they were all still identifiable. An employee at a crematorium informed her that bones remain after bodies are burned for 2 hours at 2,000 degrees. The house was destroyed. So this is kind of... Their house basically burned to the ground in 45 minutes.
Yeah.
But, I mean, then it was
That's
7 hours.
really fast fucking fire.
It was 7 hours before the fire trucks and everything got there. So, like, the fire... I mean, it just kept smoldering the whole time.
To be that cold
but
out
45
for a fire,
minutes, like 5 bodies just burn up to nothing in 45 minutes. There
has to be there have to be some acceleration, I would think.
Right. The collection of odd moments grew. A telephone repairman told the Sodders that their lines appeared to have been cut, not burned, as originally stated. They realized that if the fire had been electrical, the result of faulty wiring, as the official report stated, then the power would have been dead inside. So how do they explain the light downstairs?
When the daughter got up to piss.
Yeah. So the mom.
Oh, the mom. Yeah.
A witness.
Somebody's daughter. Josh?
Well, the lights were still. They could see the lights still too on while the fire was happening.
Okay. Yeah.
So, a witness came forward claiming he saw a man at the scene of the fire.
Was he meandering?
He was not meandering. He was doing much worse. He was taking a block and tackle used for removing car engines. And the man accused of doing this was arrested and admitted that he had cut the Sodders' phone lines, but he never went to trial for the crime he'd been charged with, so his claims never amounted to anything as far as law enforcement was concerned. However, the crime he was arrested for not only occurred during the fire, but at the site of the fire. While George Sodder was trying to rescue his children, this man was stealing from one of the nearby buildings on his property.
Oh, my God.
Like, right next to him. The man's claims that he cut the phone lines were waived off because the lines were cut at the top of the telephone pole. But that could also explain why the ladder was not found or typically remained. Gone. It was found almost 75 feet away down like a nearby hill. So it was almost always like right in a little shed.
Why would it be?
Yeah, just all of a sudden, for some reason, it's not around anymore. One day, while the family was visiting the site, Sylvia found a hard rubber object in the yard. Jennie recalled hearing the hard thud on the roof and the rolling sound. George concluded it was a napalm pineapple bomb of the type used in warfare. He had seen them before. A bus driver had reported that he witnessed balls of fire being thrown onto the roof of the home while driving his route that night. It was determined later that the fire had started on the roof of the house. So, nice of this bus driver to, like, see this stuff and just be like, well, that's Christmas Eve for
I got my route to do! Behind the yellow line!
Get back, Santa!
I don't care what day it is!
Then came the reports of sightings. A woman claimed to have seen the missing children peering from a passing car while the fire was in progress. A woman operating a tourist stop between Fayetteville and Charleston, some 50 miles west, said...
I've heard of Charleston.
You've heard of Charleston. You've been there a couple times?
Didn't see any kids.
Did not see these 5 kids. She said that she saw the children the morning after the fire. I served them breakfast, she told police. There was a car with Florida license plates at the tourist court, too. A woman at a Charleston hotel saw the children's photos in a newspaper and said she had seen 4 of the 5 a week after the fire. Quote, the children were accompanied by 2 men and 2 women, all of Italian extraction. I think she means distinction.
Yeah.
She said in a statement, I do not remember the exact date. However, the entire party did register at the hotel and stayed in a large room with several beds. They registered about midnight. I tried to talk with the children in a friendly manner, but the men appeared hostile and refused to allow me to talk to these children. One of the men looked at me in a hostile manner. He turned around and began talking rapidly in Italian. Immediately, the whole party stopped talking to me. I sensed that I was being frozen out, so I said nothing more, and they left early the next morning. In 1947, so 2 years after, George and Jennie sent a letter about the case to the FBI and received a reply from J. Edgar Hoover. He said that although I'd like to be of service, the matter related appears to be of local character and does not come within the investigative jurisdiction of this bureau. Hoover's agents said, however, they would assist if they got permission from the local authorities, but the Fayetteville police and fire departments declined their offer.
Oh. Why? How about ask George and Jennie or whatever the mom's name is?
Yeah. The Sodders then turned to a private investigator named C.C. Tinsley, who discovered that the insurance salesman
private investigator, yeah,
Man,
CC.
If you ever wanted to be a PI,
It'd be cool.
I think it'd be that's what we need to do.
Up and call it middle-aged and mediocre.
MAM PI something.
Yeah.
MAMPI. So there's a thing there. We could do it. Well, that's what we're gonna start doing now.
Right.
So quit your job. I'll quit mine.
You'll take the bullet.
Whatever.
Okay.
Sure. But I always have a flask in my pocket.
Okay.
So the flask is gonna take the bullet.
Sure.
You'll think I'm dead. And
Yeah.
You'll give me this big, Josh is so.
yeah.
I'm gonna miss him, and you're gonna be crying, and then I'm gonna go. Would just knock it off.
You want a shot, pussy?
And I'm gonna stand up, and you're gonna see the bullet. And I'm just gonna take a shot.
I'll shake my head and say, Josh.
Oh, you rascal! Yeah. So and then the credits roll.
I'm gonna shoot you.
The PI, C.C. Tinsley, discovered that the insurance salesman who had threatened George was a member of the coroner's jury that deemed the fire accidental. Another little weird coincidence. The PI also heard a curious story from a Fayetteville minister about F.J. Morris, the fire chief. Although Morris had claimed no remains were found, he supposedly confided that he discovered a heart and some bones in the ashes. He hid them inside a dynamite box. So before he hit him, so when the story got around, they wanted the Sodders and Tinsley persuaded him to dig up the site to show them whatever.
Yeah.
And according to him, he wanted the Sodders to find something so they could put this behind them.
Yeah.
So he got a box, buried the stuff in it, and then put it in the ground. So when they did dig stuff up,
he would find
they would find something, and they could maybe move on.
Yeah.
Together, they dug up the box and took it straight to a local funeral director, who poked and prodded the heart and concluded it was beef liver that was untouched by the fire. It was determined as well that the bones had belonged to someone older than any of the Sodder children. And for some reason, this didn't raise any alarms with anybody. They're just like, yeah, it's old bones. We can't identify why they're there, but soon afterward, the Sodders heard rumors that the fire chief had told others that the content of the box had not been found in the fire at all, that he'd buried the beef liver and bones in the rubble in hope that finding any remains would placate the family enough to stop the investigation. Over the next few years, the tips and leads...
like he has something to hide.
Everybody in this is a little sketchy. Over the next few years, the tips and leads continued to come in. George saw a newspaper photo of school children in New York City and was convinced that one of them was his daughter, Betty. He drove to Manhattan in search of the child, but the parents refused to speak to him. Which, I don't blame him.
Yeah.
If a random dude showed
I'm
up.
from West Virginia. I saw your daughter in the paper.
All right, get away, weirdo.
Well, I said forget about it. I said I can't forget about
Take your sausage and go elsewhere.
We're the worst.
In August 1949, the Sodders decided to mount a new search at the fire scene and brought in a Washington, D.C. pathologist named Oscar B. Hunter. The excavation...
4 years later, then?
45 to 49, yeah. The excavation was thorough, uncovering several small objects, damaged coins, a partly burned dictionary, and several shards of vertebrae. Oh. Hunter sent the bones to the Smithsonian Institution, which issued the following report.
Stop sending us bones. Sorry.
The lower lumbar vertebrae belong to one individual. Since, I don't know what half this means, since the transverse recesses are fused, the age of the individual at death should have been 16 or 17 years. The top limit of age should be about 22, since the centra, which normally fuse at 23, are still unfused. On this basis, the bones show greater skeletal maturation than one would expect for a 14-year-old boy, which was the oldest missing Sodder child. It is, however, possible, although not probable, for a boy 14 and a half years old to show 16 to 17-year-olds maturation.
Yeah.
So the bone, so...
But they said that they only saw 4 that one night in the hotel, so maybe...
One, yeah. The vertebrae showed no evidence that they had been exposed to fire, though.
Oh.
The report said, quote, "It is very strange that no other bones were found in the allegedly careful excavation of the basement of the house. Noting that the house reportedly burned for only about a half an hour or so, 45 minutes, it is said that one would expect to find the full skeletons of 5 children, rather than only 4 vertebrae. The bones," the report concluded, "were most likely in the supply of dirt George used to fill the basement to create the memorial for his children.
Yeah.
The bones had reportedly come from a cemetery in nearby Mount Hope, but no one knows why they were removed from there or how they ended up in dirt that George used."
Jesus.
Just bones, which apparently the Mount Hope at that point had been used for... Nobody had been buried there since like World War II, which, I mean, that was still pretty... Or I don't know.
Yeah, I guess, I mean, someone... How would they know it came from the cemetery?
Right,
too?
so I'm not real... Yeah.
Yeah, it's just so weird.
The Smithsonian report prompted 2 hearings at the Capitol in Charleston, after which Governor Okie L. Patterson and State Police Superintendent W.E. Burchett told the Sodders their search was hopeless and declared the case closed. Undeterred, George and Jennie purchased a billboard along Route 16 and passed out flyers offering a $5,000 reward for information leading to the recovery of their children. They soon increased the amount to $10,000.
I got so many calls from just people making shit up.
A letter arrived from a woman in St. Louis saying the oldest girl, Martha, was in a convent there. Another tip came from Texas, where a patron in a bar overheard an incriminating conversation about a long-ago Christmas Eve fire in West Virginia. Someone in Florida claimed the children were staying with a distant relative of Jennie's. George traveled the country to investigate each lead, always returning home without any answers. In 1968, more than 20 years after the fire, Jennie went to get the mail and found an envelope addressed only to her. It was postmarked in Kentucky, but it had no return address. Inside was a photo of a man in his mid-20s. On the flip side of it, a cryptic handwritten note read, "Louis Sodder. I love Frankie," and then I can't, the rest of the writing couldn't be made out.
Oh, God, yeah.
She and George couldn't deny the resemblance to their Louis, who was 9 at the time of the fire. Beyond the obvious similarities, dark curly hair and dark brown eyes, they had the same straight, strong nose, the same upward tilt of the left eyebrow. Once again, they hired a private detective and sent him to Kentucky. They never heard from him again. It's not weird.
Nope.
The Sodders feared that if they published the letter or the name of the town on the postmark, they might harm their son. Instead, they amended the billboard to include the updated image of Louis and hung an enlarged version over the fireplace. Time is running out for us, George said in an interview, but we only want to know if they died in the fire. We want to be convinced. Otherwise, we want to know what happened to them. He died a year later in 1968, still hoping for a break in the case.
He could never forget about it.
Oh, that was good. Jennie erected a fence around her property and began adding rooms to her home, building layer after layer between her and the outside. Since the fire, she had worn black exclusively as a sign of mourning, and continued to do so
kids, man, that's terrible.
Until her own death in 1989.
Man, she
basically lost
years.
I mean, if that's how she ended up being, though, that means she basically lost all of her kids.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, she quit being a part of the world.
Yeah.
The billboard finally came down. Her children and grandchildren continued the investigation and came up with theories of their own. The local mafia had tried to recruit George, but he declined and didn't sit well with them. They had tried to extort money from him, and he refused. The children were kidnapped by someone they knew. Someone who burst into the unlocked front door, told them about the fire, and offered to take them someplace safe. They might not have survived the night if they had, and they had lived for decades. If it really was Lewis in that photograph, they failed to contact their parents only because they wanted to protect them.
Yeah.
As of 2015, Sylvia Sodder Paxton, the youngest in the family, is the only one still alive.
Jeez.
Of the surviving children from the house on the night of the fire. I think she died in 2018. I couldn't find that for sure, but
we can't interview her.
We can't. She returned my call, so I assume she's dead. She says her earliest memory, which the fire is her earliest memory. She was the one that was 2 years old at the time. I was one of the last kids to leave home, she recalled the Gazette Mail in 2013. She and her father often stayed up late talking about what might have happened. Quote, I experienced their grief for a long time. She still believes that her siblings survived the night and quietly assists with efforts to find them and publicize the case. Her daughter said in 2006, she promised my grandparents she wouldn't let the story die, that she would do everything she could. And she did. Yeah. So that is the case of the Sodder children. 5 kids that just go missing during a fire.
That's a real bummer.
Yeah. What?
Depressing story.
Oh, okay. You said bummer like it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it is a bummer.
That's crazy.
But yeah, so
maybe bombed.
Everyone's kind of suspicious.
That's so weird. He would like bulldoze it over.
Right, like on one hand, somebody's like that's 5 of your kids are just gone.
Yeah.
And
what the fuck are you gonna do with 5 kids if someone did take them?
That's like. So there's some theories.
Sell them, I guess. I mean, just
so one person. So there's this big theory that the Sodders that George more than anybody was violent towards the kids and the wife, and that this whole thing was I forget what they call it, but basically. The fire was started on purpose so that
maybe
the kids could be taken out of the home and freed
the older
from
kids
this.
have been through it already,
right? So it was like but that's
might leave the 2-year-old.
That's a stretch, man. Yeah. Like somebody would have somebody has to raise these somebody would have had to be in on it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That's a little stretch. But it does, I just can't imagine 5 bodies just burn up and disappear.
Yeah.
In that, I mean, the fire did smolder for 8 hours, but if the house burnt down in 45 minutes,
it's kind of like part of a dictionary.
Right. They found part of appliances.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's the billboard was up for years though. I'm
gonna go out, set your house on fire, watch it.
Okay.
And I'll let the listeners know.
Okay. Yeah,
Stay here.
It's called a science experiment.
Stay here.
All right.
You're my assistant.
Sounds good. I'll just keep drinking.
I feel so warm.
I'll get on the phone with you, and I'll let you know how it's going.
All right.
So that way you can have some good.
Yeah.
I'll try to record it live. Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know. That's I really don't know what happened. Again, how do you, if it's a person kidnapping...
5 kids.
Who kidnaps 5 kids?
And if the hotel person was right, and there's 4 adults, so how are you traveling around with 9 people? That's 2 cars at least.
So I really don't know. I mean, most likely they did die in the fire, and
sometimes people misremember. I mean,
right. Well, the one son, I don't know which one. He says that when he first gave a statement, he said that he remembers going into the room of the younger kids and shaking them awake to tell them to come on.
Yeah.
But then later he denied that, and they think that it's him saying that was him trying to, because that's what he should have done.
Yeah.
So he didn't do it, but then he was like, "Oh, I mean, I did because because he didn't want to sound like he." So whatever.
Ran out. Only caring about himself.
Yeah, weird story, man.
Yeah.
Just 5 kids just disappear. So, yeah, that's the story of the Sodder children in Fayetteville,
Okay.
West Virginia.
You want to do Would You Rather?
Yeah.
Well, tough shit. I don't have any.
Oh.
This week's a little different.
Okay.
We're gonna learn a little bit about you, buddy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this is the first one is Fuck, Marry, Kill.
Okay.
Jason Voorhees,
All right.
Freddy Krueger,
Mm-hmm.
Michael Myers.
Fuck, marry, kill Jason Voorhees, Freddy Krueger, and Michael Myers.
Yes.
I'm going to fuck Freddy Krueger. He just seems like a good time.
Oh, yeah, he probably would.
He's a fun guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Get a bag. Get a paper bag. Put it over there. Watch out for the hand job.
I'm gonna marry Jason Voorhees.
He seems like a real family.
He loves his mom.
Yeah.
He's a big, strong guy. I
He
feel
is.
safe.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I'll kill Michael
He's an
Myers.
outdoorsman.
Yeah, he loves the outdoors. I love lakes
Yeah,
and
sure.
campgrounds.
Sure.
So that's awesome. And then, kill Michael Myers because he's just kind of like a sad little whiny bitch that, I don't even know what happened to him, but if Rob Zombie has anything to do with it, he makes me hate him.
Kill him.
So, yeah,
All
definitely kill Rob Zombie's Michael Myers.
Okay. I thought you were going to say definitely kill Rob Zombie.
No, I like Rob Zombie.
Okay.
I just hate his Halloween movies.
That's good. Those were the right answers.
Yeah.
Okay. And now we're going to do Desert Island. What's the one book that you would take?
One book. I mean, the Bible. No.
Well, actually, I had the Bible tattooed all over my body, so I wouldn't even need to take the actual book.
Oh, yeah, it's all up here in my brain.
Yeah.
I know it. Man, I don't know. One book.
One book.
Probably like I got one of the, or no, I know what it would be. See up there underneath the Predator
Yeah.
thing? That's the entire Calvin and Hobbes.
Oh.
It's like the full compendium is what they call
Uh-huh.
it. I'd take that.
Is that one book or is it many
It's just
books?
one giant fucking book of all the comic strips.
Yeah, hell yeah.
So that's what I would take.
That'd be cool.
Because I could read Calvin and Hobbes over and over again forever.
That'd be good.
So that one.
So, what movie would you take?
Well, I couldn't watch it. I'm on a desert island.
Motherfucker, you have a screen with
All right,
one movie to watch
I have
over and over
electricity
again.
somehow.
You know what? You ruined this.
I have my phone. I can get a little bit of Wi-Fi, just enough Wi-Fi signal that I have to choose.
You have you have electricity with like a TV with the VCR built in, and you can take one fucking VHS tape.
One VHS tape.
It can be any movie though. You
Okay.
just what fucking movie?
Yeah.
You really think you're gonna be on a desert island? I mean, none of this is.
I hope. One.
Wash your
movie.
hands, even if you're on an island.
I would take True Romance.
All right.
Christian Slater.
And what woodwind instrument?
Oh. I mean the pan flute.
Okay.
That's the only one I know.
That's it. Now we know.
That's the
Now
only
we
one I
know
can
you
think
so
of off
much
the top of my
better.
head.
You fuck Freddy Krueger.
Woodwind.
Woodwind.
Yeah, fuck. Yeah,
What
man.
would
He just he's a good
you
time.
take? Yeah.
He's a jokester.
Uh-huh.
He can make me laugh.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just watch that.
Jason
handy.
Voorhees would protect me.
He would.
Michael Myers.
Make you a fire.
Fuck off.
Yep. Fuck off.
Even though Halloween's like my favorite horror movie.
Yeah.
So still.
We're talking about fucking and we're talking about marrying.
Right. That's different.
These are all
than what
different.
I like.
Yeah. That's your favorite. What? This has gone off.
All right,
You're
so,
too
yeah.
drunk and high off pills.
Not even that much.
Is this happening right now?
Where am I, man? Am I on a desert island, man?
Give me my pan flute.
What are some woodwind instruments?
I don't know.
There's
I
the
just like
flutes.
saying woodwind.
Would the
Reading.
recorder, would the recorder count?
Is that woodwind?
Woodwind?
Probably is
I mean,
woodwind.
you could make one out of wood.
I just wanted to say woodwind, okay? I don't know. Quit putting me on the
Well, now I'm
spot.
curious. Now I gotta find out.
You're the one. Woodwind.
Because I might change my mind. I might not take a pan flute.
Pan flute might not even be a woodwind.
That's true.
All right, what brass instrument would you take?
Woodwind instruments. Oh, saxophone. All day.
Yeah.
All day.
All day.
Woodwind instruments
They
are...
say the French horn is only the best kissers can play the French horn.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Common examples include flute, clarinet, oboe.
Oboe. I think I'd take an oboe.
Well, a saxophone is a woodwind.
Is it a woodwind?
And a bassoon.
I've never seen a wooden saxophone.
So they're not made
Does it,
out of...
does it have to be wood?
No.
Well, that's deceiving.
That is.
Yeah.
So it's...
Lies.
What differentiates They're a family of musical
Were we
instruments.
talking about this?
So it's like wind instruments, and then woodwind instruments are a different thing because they have a wooden reed that produces their sound.
Well, yeah, you have to stick to your pan flute because you have to make it yourself from the trees on the island.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there's no way I can make a fucking saxophone from a tree. I'm not that good.
And by watch a movie, I mean you have to reenact a movie.
Oh, there's a flute called a shakuhachi.
Oh yeah,
I'll take that. That's my new thing.
Shakuhachi.
Yeah, I'm taking the shakuhachi. That's my answer from now on.
You're like, where's my shakuhachi? What is it?
Oh, and a recorder, and it counts.
Okay.
So maybe a recorder. Because
I like oboe. Just I like the way that word is. Oboe.
I like bassoon for the same reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds like something fun to call somebody. You bassoon.
You fucking bassoon. You
Get oboe
bassoon
here.
macaroni.
Get oboe here.
All right, man. We better get off here before we say some things that get us in trouble with the mob.
Oh, now we are.
Yeah, because the mafia listens. Big fans.
I'm gonna go wash my hands.
Hey, so yeah, everybody survive coronavirus, please. And check out our podcast. Share it. Tell your friends. If, as I've said before, we still got some shirts, I think. We're still making shirts.
I have
People want
two to
them.
deliver, but I gave them all out.
Yeah, okay, so we can make new ones, though, if people want them.
Yeah.
Like I said,
Brandon and Aaron.
if anyone goes to our anchor.fm page, anchor.fm /middle-aged and mediocre, there's a little button on there that's like supports the podcast, and I think it's like you can do like $1 a month, $5 a month, something like that. If anyone does that, let me know, and I will draw you a little personalized monster.
I'll cut off a finger and send it to you.
And Joel will cut off a finger.
Yeah.
Maybe not his.
Maybe not mine. Probably not mine.
You'll get a finger, though, in the mail.
You're going to get the finger.
And, I mean, I think these days you can do whatever you want. The world's ending.
Yep.
So we might be back next week, or the world may be in total chaos.
It's the end of the world as we know it.
And I feel fine.
Yeah, it's the alcohol and the pills, fuckface.